Hello everyone, welcome back to Coding Intuition. Today we are going to solve minimum cost for tickets question on LeetCode. So let us just quickly understand this question first. So in this question we are given two arrays of integers. The first array represents our days in which we are going to travel by a train, and a second array represents the array of costs, that is basically the cost to travel from the train. Now there are three different ways in which we have assigned the costs. So if we want to travel for only one day, that means if we want to buy a ticket for train only for one day, in that case it will cost us the first index in the cost array. So the size of this cost array is only up to 3. And if we want to get a pass for 7 days in which we can travel any day in the consecutive 7 days, and that will cost us this much rupees. Okay. And if we want to travel for 30 days, and in those 30 days, in those consecutive 30 days, the cost will be the third element inside the cost array. So now, and we are also given in this question that we are having days up to 1 to 135 165 days only. So each day is between 1 to 165. So what we need to do in this question, we will be given an array of days in which we want to travel, and we are given an array of costs. We want to minimize our cost for traveling on all these days. For example, let us just see this first example and try to understand what we are doing here. So on this first example, we have two choices. In If we go from the first day, we can either choose to travel for to get the pass for 7 days and travel up to here. So that will allow us to travel us to 1 to 7. But we didn't choose that in this case. We just choose to spend $2, and which covered only one day. And then after that we decided to take the pass for 7 days, which covered all of these days. So we have to spend $7 more for to cover all of these days. And at the end we again spend $2 to cover the last 20th day. So in these way, we need to identify how we can spend our money so that it is the most effective way of going on traveling on these days. We need to return the minimum sum of dollars that we will be using. Okay. So that is what this question want to say. So I hope that it makes the question very much clear. So now let us just move to whiteboard and try to understand the intuition behind solving this question. And firstly we will write a brute force approach, which is recursive approach. Then we'll move to a more optimized approach. So to understand this question intuitively, let us consider the things which we already know. So let us say if we don't want to travel for 7 days, or we don't want to travel for a week or a month. Let us say we just want to travel for one day. So we know that for traveling on this day, our cost would be 2. Okay, so for the day one, our cost would be 2. And if we say, can someone please get me the value for which the minimum number of the minimum cost that will cost me to travel on all of these days. So my answer would be the cost of this day, that is 2 plus the minimum cost of these all days. Okay, so we can say that if let us say we have a magic method which calculates the minimum cost to travel on all these days, and we have decided the for the first day we will travel for the one day pass. And in that case, uh, the cost of traveling on the first day would be 2, and the all over cost would be the minimum cost for all of these days. Okay, so that is what we need to do in every case. Okay, so let us just see here. And the so we can say the cost of day would be the cost 0, which is basically the first element in this, and the minimum cost of the next day, the minimum cost up to next day. Okay, now let us consider one another thing. Now let us say we don't want to travel for one day, we want to travel for 1 week. So in that case we say, for the 1 week I know that the cost would be 7 rupees. For the 1 week I know that the cost would be 7 rupees. Can somebody please get me the cost for the minimum cost up to the next day? If you can get me the minimum cost up to the next day, I will have my answer, because I will just add 7 into it. Okay, so that's how we can say that the week cost of the week would be cost 1 plus the minimum cost of the next day after this week. So minimum cost of this day after the week. Okay, and similarly we can say that if we have we can say that I know if I have to travel for the 30 days, the cost for this would be 15 rupees. And if someone can get me the cost for up to my next day, that would be my final answer. So we can again say that the cost of week would be the cost of month would be the cost 2 plus the minimum cost of next day after the month. Okay, so we have these three values with us now. So what we need to do for each and every day, we just need to calculate the minimum of these values. That is what we are doing here. So we just need to calculate the minimum of these values, and that would be our answer. Okay, so now let us just move to a code, and I will add some animations here that will make it more easy to understand for you. So let us just first understand the recursive code, and then we'll move to more optimized approaches of it. So here is the recursive code. Let us quickly try to understand it. So in this recursive code, first of all, we will just call a recursive function and pass our parameter in this, and we will uh, start from our 0th day. We will say that we will start from our 0th day. Okay, basically it is the index in our days array. We will start from that. So basically whatever is first day inside our days array, we will start from that, and we will say first of all, as we have seen on the whiteboard, if the cost, just let us consider that we are considering to buy the pass for only one day. So the if we buy the pass only for the one day, our cost will be the cost 0 plus the cost of remaining, the cost of our remaining array. Okay, and similarly we can do it for the 7 days. What we are doing here, we just set it this integer to our current index, and we are moving it forward up till we find the index after the 7 days. For example, we have an array which have 1 4 6 and 7. So in that 7 and 8, so in that case we need to skip 1 4 6 7 and just directly move to 8 in that case. So and we will say for these first 7 days, our cost of traveling will be cost 1, and let us just calculate cost for the rest of days. Okay, and we will pass that index here as well. So now we will do the similar thing for the 30 days. We will just move 30 days ahead inside our array, and we will say give me the cost for rest of the 30 days, and at the end we will just calculate the minimum of these three codes, these three values, basically the cost of a day, a week, and month, and that would be our final answer after we do it recursively over it. So I hope that makes the recursive code very clear, and makes you show how much intuitive is this code if we are just writing what we are thinking. Now let us just try to convert this code to optimize code, because this will give you a time limit exceeded error. So let us just first apply memoization to this code, and then we will move to bottom up DP approach. So here is the top-down DP approach. There is nothing much nothing much different in this approach to explain. So in this approach, we are just considering that there could be the cases. For example, we can bypass for 1 day, 7 days, and 30 days. So there could be a cases we are reaching to the same index by using the multiple ways. For example, we can go from to 8th index by going by purchasing pass of 1 day 8 times, or we can also purchase part of 7 day and go into one and purchase another pass of 1 day and go to 8 directly. So we can reduce the duplicate cases in which we are calculating the same cost again and again by storing our cost in a DP array. We have just changes 2 lines in this code, and this will get accepted as a top down DP approach. So here we are at every at the index of the current day, we are saving that for saving the index of that. We are saying that for this day the minimum cost is this, and we have recorded it. And if this day comes again throughout these recursive calls, we just don't need to calculate it all over again. We can just say that if it already exists, we will just return that. So we have initialized this array to -1 all over, and if -1 is not present inside that, any another value is present inside that, which means that we have already calculated the value for the index of this day. So what we will be doing, we will just return that value directly from our DP array. So that is the top down approach. Now let us just move to whiteboard and try to understand bottom up DP. So now let us understand bottom up approach by with this simple example. So now in this example, we have given this days and costs, and let us just consider a DP array of size 365 days. So now let's just start filling our DP array. So zero will be we will just add zero. That will be not considered as array. We will just initialize it by 0. Okay. So now as soon as we move to first day, we have only one choice to make. We have only one choice, because as of now we don't have 7 days or 30 days. We will say we will have only one day, and we will choose for that only. So for cost up to our first day would be $2, because that would be the only choice we have. Now up to second day, again we have only one choice, and up to sixth day we have only one choice. Okay, so now what we are doing, we just kept on adding the cost of 0 up to day 6. We say we are just adding 2 at every time, that we are just doing 1 day at a step, 1 day at a time. Now at day is equal to 7, what we need to do is we need to calculate the minimum bit, because the previous indexes we don't have access to the 7 days or 30 days. Now we have access to 7 days. So we will say whatever the index of this day minus 7, which will be going to 0, and we will say whatever dp of I minus 7 plus the cost of this, so that will be 0 plus 7, and that will make this uh, count from minimum of 12 plus 2, that we consider going one day ahead, or we should consider going 7 days back and considering all this day to buy the pass of 7 days. So what will be the minimum of that? The minimum of that would be 7. And now we will repeat the step again and again for all of the values. So now here we can see 8 minus 7 would be 1. So our cost for both of them would be 9, because here the last step the cost is 7, 7 plus 2 is also 9, and at 8 minus 7 is 2, and 7 plus 4, and 7 plus 2 is also 9. 8 minus 7 is basically 1, and 7 plus 2 is also 9. And similarly we will calculate the cost for 9 and 11, 9 and 10, and that would be 13. Now we can see that there are no values between 10 to 30 inside our array. So for all those value our cost will remain same, because we are not traveling in those days. So whatever was cost for 10 day 10, we have just we will just copy that cost for the remaining days. This is 13, 13, and 13. Now when we come up to 30 days, now we have access to 30 days as well. Now we will do the same thing. We will calculate the minimum among the three values. We will say 13 plus 2 is equal to 15. Either that would be our value, or we can say 7 plus 13 is our because 30 minus 7 would be 23, and on 23 day our day it is 7 plus 13. Or we can say 30 minus 30 would be 0, and plus 15, because 0 plus 15 would be 15. So we will calculate minimum among these for the day 30, so that would be 15. And at last we will calculate for 31st day in the similar way. So that is the dp approach explained. So let us just move to its simple code, and that will make things very much clear for you. So here's a simple code for bottom up DP approach. So first of all, in this approach, we will push all the elements inside our days array to another set. Why we are doing this? We are doing this because we are looping over all 365 days, and we need to consider only those days which are present inside this days array. And to get those in of one time, we are just adding them to another set. Otherwise, to get it retrieve any day from days array would take much more time. So that's why we are using another set here. So as we use another set, and we loop from I is equal to 1 to 366, we will say whenever we find out a value where which is present inside the days, what we will be doing is we will be calculating the cost up till now I minus 1 for the if we want to have a pass for one day, I minus 7 if we want to have a pass for 7 days. And here we are doing maximum of 0 and minus 7, because as we have seen on the whiteboard, the minus 7 could go out of bounds. Basically in that case we will just consider this above 1, so that's why we have just put it 0 here. If it is going out of bounds, basically if it is less than 0, then we will not consider that. And similar thing for I minus 30 as well. And in that case we will add the cost for the 30-day pass now, and then we will calculate the minimum of them and assign it to value of dp of I. And if it is not present inside our array, as we have seen in our example on whiteboard, that we will just copy the value of the previous one if it is not present inside our days array. So that is a simple code for bottom up dp approach. I hope this video has helped you to understand this question. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.